Welcome to lesson 153 of A Course in Miracles. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. I'm Judith and you're at the Lucid Mind Center. We are going to be reading this lesson together and then we are going to contemplate it while we are reading it. And since this is A Course in Miracles with Qigong, I will guide you to a Qigong class which I have recorded, which is suitable to this, to apply this lesson to. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and at the end let me know what you think, and also if you do the Qigong classes with me, let me know how they go for you. I'm very, very glad that you're here. So, lesson 153. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. You who feel threatened by this changing world, its twists of fortune and its bitter jests, its brief relationships and all the gifts it merrily lends to take away again, attend this lesson well. So this is probably all of us. So you who feel threatened, us who feel threatened, attend this lesson well. The world provides no safety. It is rooted in attack, and all its gifts of seeming safety are illusory deceptions. It attacks and then attacks again. No peace of mind is possible where danger threatens thus. The world gives rise but to defensiveness, for threat brings anger. Anger makes attack seem reasonable, honestly provoked, and righteous in the name of self-defense. I am doing that all the time. When I'm afraid, every time I'm afraid, I immediately go into anger mode and then I want to attack. And this is something which I have learned from my family. We all do it. Everybody's doing it. So it's instantly anybody kind of the slightest kind of threat we perceive, fear, and boom. That's why my mother and me, we are like cat and mouse, or like cat and dog. We just instantly explode. But then again, the Course in Miracles started because I couldn't forgive her. So I would have not even come that far if it wasn't for needing to forgive her. For threat brings anger. Anger makes attack seem reasonable, honestly provoked, and righteous in the name of self-defense. Yet is defensiveness a double threat, for it attests to weakness and sets up a system of defense that cannot work. Now are the weak still further undermined, for there is treachery without and still a greater treachery within. The mind is now confused and knows not where to turn to find escape from its imaginings. It is as if a circle held it fast, wherein another circle bound it, and another in that one, until escape no longer can be hoped for nor obtained. Attack, defense, defense, attack become the circles of the hours and the days that bind the mind in heavy bands of steel, with iron overlaid, returning but to start again. There seems to be no break nor ending in the ever-tightening grip of imprisonment upon the mind. And these lessons are very demanding, I find, because they're talking about defense, and we are defending ourselves all the time. Even if nobody attacks us, we have already our defenses prepared. We have already our excuses prepared to ourselves and to others. So we are in this constant state of threat, we feel. And because we are in that constant state of threat, we constantly have all our defenses built up and we are protecting ourselves. And this is actually not helping us at all. A common thing is when people are saying, we are saying, but I'm going to say to people, them, they are after us. The politicians, they are doing this, that, or the other. They are mad, but we are clever. It's excluding ourselves out of this, out of that group, perceiving a threat out there, which we need to defend ourselves. But as a matter of fact, we are all in this together. We all belong together, and we are all on the core of our being, who we truly are. We are all one. We just kind of forgot it. When I'm repeating myself. And when we are talking about defense, because we don't really want to deal with it, and this is also really long lessons, we are like almost, no, I don't want to deal with this. It's because it is scratching the surface to the truth. It's like, this is where the problem lays. Defenses are the costliest of all the prices which the ego would exact. In them lies madness in a form so grim that hope of sanity seems but to be an idle dream beyond the possible. The sense of threat the world encourages is so much deeper and so far beyond the frenzy and intensity of which you can conceive that you have no idea of all the devastation it has wrought. You are its slave. You know not what you do in fear of it. You do not understand how much you have been made to sacrifice, who feel its iron grip upon your heart. And this is so true. You do not understand how much you have been made to sacrifice, who feel its iron grip upon your heart, or upon your heart. You do not realize what you have done to sabotage the holy peace of God by your defensiveness. It is strong. Defensiveness. We're defending ourselves all the time. I mean, if you just consider and contemplate, like for example, that we need to earn money. This is a defense mechanism because we do not trust that it's going to come from any other way. So we are making plans of how we're going to earn money. And of course, sometimes you have to play this game along. I mean, later on in the course, it's going to say, if your brother asks you to do something, then do it. And this working is kind of giving in to this, what the brother asks, because this is the rule of our world. But the problem is that we lost ourselves in it. We lose ourselves in the rules of the world, and then we start building up those defenses. We start building up those ego fences, and then it also, that ego says, well, see, if you don't protect yourself, then you're gonna get killed, because we are believing that we are a body. It's basically because we just cannot unhook ourselves out of this fear system. It is extremely difficult. We are justifying it. We're justifying it with our defenses. So every time when we are putting up a defense, and that is actually quite interesting to observe. And I don't know if you have done this before, but when you actually observe every time you defend yourself, or every time fear arises, and how you're protecting yourself. This is a quite interesting exercise to observe that, because once you recognize it, you can undo it. But if you don't recognize it, you cannot get rid of it. Remember in the beginning of the workbook, if you don't know what the problem is, you can't do nothing about it. So first we need to recognize the problem. First we need to see it in ourselves, that there is a defense mechanism I have built up. And then I have to think, so why am I defending myself? Where is the threat? And that is where you have to start questioning. So what is the threat? What is that threat actually attacking? And you will notice that most of the times the threat is attacking your ego. It is not attacking your higher self, because your higher self cannot even be attacked. This is the same as if you want to attack the water with a stick. It's like, how are you going to attack the water with a stick? You're just going to hit it and the water is just going to open up. Or how are you going to attack air with a stick? It doesn't work. So what you're doing is we are identifying ourselves with a body which needs to be protected, which can experience threat, because we forgot who we are. We forget that we are the divine self. I hope that makes sense. See, I hope that makes sense. That is an ego sentence. Because of course it makes sense, because I'm connected. trusting, I am connected, so whatever is coming needs to come. You do not realize what you have done to sabotage the holy peace of God by your defensiveness. For you behold the Son of God as but a victim of attack by fantasies, by dreams, and by illusions he has made, yet helpless in their presence, needful only of defense by still more fantasies and dreams by which illusions of this safety comfort him. This is just what I have said. Defenselessness is strength. Let me just repeat this again. Defenselessness. So when you are without defenses, when you do not need to defend yourself, that is strength. And it's not that you don't need to defend yourself because there is no threat. No, you realize that there cannot be any threat. That is strength. Like you are not afraid when you are sitting with 5 kids, which are with 5-year-olds, you are not afraid that they can attack you. Even if they all 5 attack you all at the same time, they can do nothing to you. It's this kind of correlation. Defenselessness is strength. It testifies to recognition of the Christ in you. Perhaps you will recall the course maintains. The choice is always made between his strength and your own weakness seen apart from him. So this really needs to be unpacked. This needs to be really made clear. His strength, it is that the choice is between his strength and your own weakness seen apart from him. So it's not that you have the weakness. You have to be very, very precise about this. It's the weakness you see because you see yourself apart from Christ, of the Christ within you. You see the difference? It's because if you just leave it at weakness, it seems as if you have weakness. So there is the strength, the Christ, and then there is the weakness you have. No, it's not that you are weak. It is because you see yourself as weak and because you see yourself apart from the light. You see yourself apart from Christ. You see yourself apart from God. We're all doing it. I'm not saying that I'm not doing it. I'm doing it too. I can just see it. I'm just interpreting it, and I'm interpreting together because I am. Right at the moment, I feel connected. And I didn't feel connected when I started reading it. It just comes as I'm reading, as I am gifting, as I have decided that I want to share this and also understand it. And also another thing, it seems to me the understanding, just because I know you are there, the understanding seems to be bigger for me than when I'm reading this by myself. Most interestingly, I wonder if that is similarly experienced by you. So perhaps you will recall the Course maintains that choice is always made between his strength and your own weakness seen apart from him. Defenselessness can never be attacked because it recognizes strengths so great. Attack is folly or silly game a tired child might play when he becomes too sleepy to remember what he wants. You see? A tired child might play when he becomes too sleepy to remember what he wants. Defensiveness is weakness. It proclaims you have denied the Christ and come to fear his Father's anger. Defensiveness is weakness. It proclaims that you have denied the Christ and come to fear his Father's anger. What can save you now from your delusions of an angry God whose fearful image you believe you see at work in all the evils of the world? Now, this is one very, very important thing to undo, to believe that it's an angry God who is creating all this madness in the world. I don't know where you are with this, if you have actually been able to lay that away. It's very important, because as long as you believe that God will threaten, that God will punish, then you are in a difficult situation. This is one of the very first things you have to undo. This belief that there is an angry God. There isn't. There is light. It's like water. It's not, the tsunami is not happening because there is an angry water. It happens just because these are the circumstances on this earth. So if we are comparing God to the sea, it doesn't mean that there is the vengeful God who then retaliates with a tsunami. We have to then take that away again. This is just another illusion. This is misinterpreting part of the analogy. The analogy is just the water when it's calm. This is what the supreme power really is. It's powerful beyond measure, but it's not necessarily busy punishing you, because it's like you forgive your child. In the beginning, when we start educating our children, we have this punishment idea still in our mind. But as our children grow, usually we realize, well, this is our children. We have to forgive them, and we are forever forgiving towards our children, no matter what they do. It's a bit like this idea. Defensiveness is weakness. It proclaims you have denied the Christ and come to fear his Father's anger. So that you have come to fear, and then it says his Father's anger. So you're denying to be Christ. So Christ suddenly is not within you. Christ is standing there, somebody to be adored. And then on top of it, his Father is suddenly his Father and not yours no more, because you have divided, you divorced yourself from the Christ. Now the Christ is within you. You are Christ. You've just forgotten it because we are in this mad ego world of an illusion. What can save you now from your delusion of an angry God whose fearful image you believe you see at work in all the evils of the world? What but illusions could defend you now when it is but illusions which you fight? We will not play such childish games today, for our true purpose is to save the world, and we would not exchange for foolishness the endless joy our function offers us. Let's just repeat this. We will not play such childish games today, for our true purpose is to save the world. So our purpose is to save the world. Is this what you have decided within yourself? To save the world? And we would not exchange for foolishness the endless joy our function offers us. So this is the first thing we have decided. So when the Course is saying this, because your purpose is to save the world, is this something that we personally decide, you and me have decided? Or is it the purpose, is it that our common purpose of each and every single one of us when we are born, we come with this purpose. We come as the light of the world. It is a common decision. It's a collective decision of the one self to save the world. Do you see the difference? For our true purpose is to save the world, and we will not exchange for foolishness the endless joy of our function offers us. Our function of saving the world actually offers us endless joy. If we accept that function, we are going to be in joy. We would not let our happiness slip by because our senses fragment of a dream, this idea that we are separate from each other, the senseless fragment of a dream happened to cross our minds, and we mistook the figures in it for the Son of God, its tiny instant for eternity. This is a tiny instant. Our life is like a tiny instant in this eternity. It's like a speck of dust in the entire space of the universe. We look past dreams today and recognize that that we need no defense because we are created unassailable without all thought or wish or dream in which attack has any meaning. Now we cannot fear, for we have left all fearful thoughts behind. And in defenselessness we stand secure, serenely certain of our safety now, sure of salvation, Sure, we will fulfill our chosen purpose as our ministry extends its holy blessings through the world. I have to repeat this. Our ministry. This is an important word. We look past dreams today and recognize that we need no defense because we are created unassailable without all thought or wish or dream in which attack has any meaning. Now we cannot fear, for we have left all fearful thoughts behind. And in defenselessness, we stand secure, serenely certain of our safety now, sure of salvation, sure we fulfill our chosen purpose of saving the world as our ministry extends its holy blessing through the world. Our ministry. This is going to come in the next one. I am among the ministers of God. Be still a moment and in silence think how holy is your purpose. And again, hear the purpose, to save the world. How secure you rest, untouchable within its light. God's ministers have chosen that the truth be with them. Who is holier than they? So, let's unpack this for a minute. So, if we all have the same purpose, and we all are the light of the world, that means we all are ministers of God. The only thing what we have forgotten, the only thing what happens to some of us, and many of us, and too many of us, is that we have forgotten that. And the thing is, you cannot force people into remembering this. You cannot. What you can do is you need to light up yourself. It's like a candle. When you light up yourself, you then can light up the ones which are ready to be lit up. You can't light up people who are not ready. We have tried that. We have been missionaries, and we have been bringing the word of God all over the world. And then we've done atrocities at the same time. But you can bring the word of God without having to force anybody into believing you. This is not your job. Your job is to find a way of how to look at the other, of how to see the light within the other. That is all you have to do. You have to remember the light within you, and then see the light within the other, and then connect to your holy self and trust that whatever you're going to say or do is what needs to be said or done. Be still a moment and in silence think how holy is your purpose, how secure you rest, untouchable within its light, in that pillar of light. God's ministers have chosen that the truth be with them. Who is holier than they? Who could be surer that his happiness is fully guaranteed? And who could be more mightily protected? What defense could possibly be needed by the ones who are among the chosen ones of God by his election and their own as well? It is the function of God's ministers to help their brothers choose as they have done. God has elected all, but few have come to realize his will is but their own. Let me repeat this. It is the function of God's ministers to help their brothers choose as they have done. So this one might be confusing. God has elected all. God has elected all. We are all the ministers, but few have come to realize his will is but their own. And while you fail to teach what you have learned, salvation waits, and darkness holds the world in grim imprisonment. Nor will you learn that light has come to you and your escape has been accomplished. So as long as you look at the world as a grim place, as long as we do that, we will not realize that the light has come. The light has come because we are here. The light comes with us because we are the light of the world, every single one of us. And that's why I said we have to shine that light within us. For you will not see the light until you offer it to all your brothers. And that's very important. It's a very, very important sentence. For you will not see the light until you offer it to all your brothers. as they take it from your hands, so will you recognize it as your own. You can't put your light under a cheese cover, under a, I don't know what it's called. You can't hide your light, because you can. Of course, you can hide your light. You can put it inside a box and nobody can see it. But this is not how to save the world. You have to shine your light. You have to shine your kindness, your need to share. But you cannot force anybody into their happiness. The same as nobody could force you into your happiness. It is a choice you're making. And the other's also going to make that choice. You just need to give them, offer them the choice. You see? This is how you offer it to your brother, and you have to see the light within him. Salvation can be taught. Salvation can be thought of as a game that happy children play. It was designed by one who loves his children and who would replace their fearful toys with joyous games which teach them that the game of fear is gone. So it was designed. I love this word. It was designed by the one who loves his children, all with capital letters, and who would replace their fearful toys with joyous games which teach them that the game of fear is gone. His game instructs in happiness because there is no loser. Everyone who plays must win, and in his winning is the gain to everyone ensured. The game of fear is gladly laid aside when children come to see the benefits salvation brings. And those games are, for example, Qigong. Those games are getting together, a community where we laugh together, a party, a birthday party, a church, a synagogue, people where people come together. This is the games, this is the play, this is yoga, this is all the different games where happiness gets activated together with others. These are those games which we put as secondary. We have put the misery on number one, and we're praying to misery, we're praying to stress, we're praying to all those crazy things we are praying to. We are praying to amassing wealth you do not need. One person living in a 500 square meter house all by themselves. What is that any good for? Invite people in. Go out there, be with them. I'm talking to myself here. I mean, I need to have all this advice, which I'm saying to you, I need it first. I need it first before anybody else. His game instructs in happiness because there is no loser. Everyone who plays must win, and in his winning is the gain to everyone ensured. The game of fear is gladly laid aside when children come to see the benefits salvation brings. You who have played that you are lost to hope, abandoned by your father, left alone in terror in a fearful world, made mad by sin and guilt, be happy now. That game is over. Now, this madness, the game of madness. Now a quiet time has come in which we put away the toys of guilt and lock our quaint and childish thoughts of sin forever from the pure and holy minds of heaven's children and the Son of God. We pause but for a moment more to play our final happy game upon this earth, and then we go to take our rightful place where truth abides and games are meaningless. So is the story ended. Let this day bring the last chapter closer to the world, that everyone may learn the tales he reads of terrifying destiny, defeat of all his hopes, his pitiful defense against the vengeance he cannot escape, was but his own deluded fantasy. And it is our own deluded fantasy. Even when you watch this madness, you can see the players in it. And they're deluded. And yet you still have to look at the light behind that delusion. You still have to kind of talk to the light within that person. And you can. You can always address the light behind them. Only if you recognize it with yourself and if you recognize it in them, then you can talk then you can connect and you can also ask for guidance. How do I connect to the light of that person? How do I do it? Show me. And then you are shown through it. It happens. You are shown and you learn by it and teach at the same time. So is the story ended? Let this day bring the last chapter closer to the world, that everyone may learn the tales he reads of terrifying destiny, defeat of all his hopes, his pitiful defense against the vengeance he cannot escape, has but his own deluded fantasy. God's ministers have come to waken him from the dark dreams this story has evoked in his confused, bewildered memory of this distorted tale. God's Son can smile at last on learning that it is not true. Today, we practice in a form. Listen to this. Today, we will practice in a form we will maintain for quite a while. We will begin each day by giving our attention to the daily thought as long as possible. As long as possible. So the course is actually asking us to meditate as long as possible. 5 minutes now become the least we give to preparation for a day, in which salvation is the only goal we have. 10 would be better. 15 better still. And as distraction ceases to arise to turn us from our purpose, we will find that half an hour is too short a time to spend with God. Nor will we willingly give less at night in gratitude and joy. Each hour adds to our increasing peace as we remember to be faithful to the will we share with God. At times, perhaps, a minute, even less, will be the most that we can offer as the hour strikes. Sometimes we will forget, and at other times the business of the world will close on us and we will be unable to withdraw a little while and turn our thoughts to God. Pardon me. Yet when we can, we will observe our trust as ministers of God in hourly remembrance of our mission and His love. So here we go again. Now this purpose has turned into a mission, and we are the ministers of that mission. And what is that purpose? The purpose is to bring the light to the world, to remember that we are the light of the world. The light has come because we have come, and it's because we have remembered that we are the light of the world. That is what it means, the light has come. And the light will come when every single one of us remembers it. And when you are in a group with friends or family, and when you're having a happy time together, then the light has come into this group. So the importance is that you come back into this remembrance as often as possible during the day. And it's also important that you do this morning remembrance and evening remembrance and spend at least 10-15 minutes, maybe even half an hour sometimes. And this is what the Qigong classes which I'm designing now for you, they are longer. There's also many which you can already use, which are specifically designed for you to help yourself remember who you truly are. And we will quietly sit by and wait on Him and listen to His voice and learn what He would have us do to the hour that is yet to come, while thanking Him for all the gifts He gave us in the one gone by, in the hour which has gone by. In time, with practice, you will never cease to think of Him and hear His loving voice guiding your footsteps into quiet ways where you will walk in true defenselessness. For you will know that heaven goes with you, nor would you keep your mind away from Him a moment, even though your time is spent in offering salvation to the world. Think you He will not make this possible for you who chose to carry out His plan for the salvation of the world and yours? Let's repeat this again. Think you he will not make this possible for you, who chose to carry out his plan for the salvation of the world and yours? Your plan and his to carry out the salvation. Today our theme is our defenselessness. We clothe ourselves in this defenselessness and we prepare to meet the day. We rise up strong in Christ and let our weakness disappear as we remember that his strength abides in us. We will remind ourselves that he remains beside us through the day and never leaves our weakness unsupported by his strength. We call upon his strength each time we feel the threat of our defenses undermine our certainty of purpose. Pardon me. We will pause a moment and he tells us, I am here, because he's always here. Your practicing will now begin to take the earnestness of love to help you keep your mind from wandering from this intent. This is so amazing. In Qigong, we are moving with intent. We know with the Qi moves with intent. And in Qigong, actually, intent is a very, very important word, because this is your intention. It's what you're intending, you will achieve. So your practicing will now begin to take the earnestness of love to help you keep your mind from wandering from its intent, because our intent is to save the world. And one of the ways to save the world is to notice, to understand your own defenselessness, to understand that there is nothing to defend against. So this is the idea which we are dealing with today. The course is a mind training course. It's about changing your mind. It's understanding that it all starts with ideas. It all starts with the mind. Even the very first sentence in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it says, first there was the Word. And word in Aramaic, which was the original language it was first written, it means idea or thought. So first there was the thought, or first there was the idea. The word was the second. This is what word in Aramaic means. It means word, idea, or thought. So first there was a thought. So it all starts with the thought. And defenselessness is a thought. Defense also is a thought. Attack is a thought. And then we are using the body to express those ideas. So the first idea has to be, I am safe. There is nothing to defend against. So let me just read it one more time. We call upon his strength each time we feel the threat of our defenses undermine our certainty of purpose. We will pause a moment as he tells us, I am here, Christ. He's here. So bring Christ back in. I am here. Your practice will now begin to take the earnestness of love to help you keep your mind from wandering from its intent. Be not afraid or timid. There can be no doubt that you will reach your final goal. The ministers of God can never fail, because the love and strength and peace that shine from them to all their brothers come from him. These are his gifts to you. Defenselessness is all you need to give him in return. You lay aside but what was never real to look on Christ and see his sinlessness. And there's one thing I really want to tell you. The love you're waiting for to come from the outside gets activated by your expressions of love. That's when it connects. You feel the love of God or the love of Christ when you feel love for somebody else. This is how you get it activated. It's not that you can feel loveless, not loving anybody, and then expect to feel the love of Christ, to feel the love of God. That's not how it works. When you switch on the love and confidence and beauty within you, when you look at the world with light, when you remember that you are the light, that is when you are connected with Christ. And I'm not talking, again, it's not the light when you close your eyes that you see a light. It's talking about the blessing the world. When you look at the plant and you say, my God, how beautiful are you? There's life in this plant. This is the expression of love. So when you can feel the expression of love within you, you are feeling Christ. You are feeling God. This is who you truly are. It's that love within you. And defenses hide it from you. They hide that light within you. I hope this makes sense. So for this particular class, I'm recommending this Qigong class, or here you have got a seated Qigong class, and here you have got the whole list where you can choose from. Love, light, and Qi to you.